Michael Jackson was afraid of exactly one person, not the way you might think. He wasn't losing sleep over some faceless rival. He was afraid the way only the greatest artists are afraid, terrified that someone else might receive the gifts God had set aside for him, and that someone had a name, a guitar, and a color he'd made entirely his own. This is the story of the one artist Michael Jackson never stopped watching. 1. 2 kings, 1 throne. Here's the thing about Michael Jackson in 1982. The man wasn't competing with anyone. Thriller had just landed. And I mean landed, not arrived, not charted. Landed like a meteor. 37 weeks at #1. A record-shattering 8 Grammys in a single night. The videos Billie Jean, Beat It, the Thriller short film, they didn't just change music. They changed what music was allowed to be on television. You have to understand how total that dominance felt. Michael wasn't outrunning the competition. He had lapped them twice, and then quietly. From Minneapolis, of all places, someone started running a different race entirely. Prince had been building since 1978. For you, then Prince, then Dirty Mind, then 1999. And if you paid real attention, you could see it coming. A one-man band, writing everything, producing everything, playing almost every instrument himself. A voice that could go anywhere. Performances that made people uncomfortable in the best possible way. Here's what's wild. Their music wasn't even in the same lane. Prince was raw and provocative and funk edge and rock tinge. Michael was cinematic and polished and untouchable. They should have been able to coexist. But the world kept putting them in the same ring. And that's when things got complicated, because Michael Jackson was used to being the only one. And Prince, from the very beginning, refused to acknowledge any ceiling above him. If you've ever watched 2 forces of nature occupy the same space at the same time, you already know where this is going. 2. Grammy night, February 28, 1984. On the evening of February 28, 1984, Prince was at home watching television. The 26th Grammy Awards were live, and what the world was watching was Michael Jackson make history. 8 Grammy Awards in a single night. Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Best R&B Song. Nobody, not ever, not in the history of that ceremony, had won 8 in one night. And Prince sat there, watching all of it. When the broadcast ended, Prince turned to Bobby Z, his drummer, his closest creative partner, and said 4 words: "Next year, that's gonna be us. Stay with me here." Because that sentence tells you everything. Next year, that's gonna be us isn't admiration. It's not healthy inspiration. That's a man watching someone else stand at the summit and deciding right then that the summit isn't theirs to keep. But here's what Prince also saw that night. The Thriller short film, a 14-minute mini-movie that had broken MTV wide open, and something lit inside it. According to Bobby Z, when Thriller hit, Prince's exact reaction was, "A mini-movie, MTV, this is mine. I'm taking this now." That's not acceptable that someone else has it. I'm going to make the full movie. And that's what he did. This is what it sounds like when Michael Jackson made a 14-minute short film. Prince responded by making an actual motion picture. Purple Rain was already in his head that night, unfinished but alive, being shaped by every second he spent watching Michael collect those awards. And on the other side of that television screen, Michael Jackson hadn't even seen it coming yet. Real talk, only 9% of you are subscribed. That hurts. We're spending hours digging through archives, fact-checking every detail, bringing these stories back to life. And if you're watching this far, you clearly care. So hit subscribe. It's free and takes 2 seconds. Now, to my subscribers, barely any of you have joined the membership. And honestly, that stings even more. You know the work we put in. You keep coming back. If these videos have ever made you feel something, if this music means something to you, join the membership. It's $1 coffee a month, and it's the only way we keep this going. Let's build this together. All right, back to it. 3. When Purple Rain changed everything. June 25th, 1984. Remember that date. I'm going to come back to it. That's the day Prince released Purple Rain. Within weeks, something unprecedented happened. Prince became the first artist since the Beatles to hold the number 1 album, the number 1 single, and the number 1 movie simultaneously. 24 consecutive weeks at the top of the Billboard 200, 13 million copies sold in the United States alone, an Oscar for Best Original Song Score, 2 Grammys, a third for writing Chaka Khan's I Feel For You. No pain, no pain, no pain. And Michael Jackson watched all of it from the sidelines. Now, the record books say Thriller spent 37 non-consecutive weeks at number 1. Purple Rain spent 24. On paper, Michael wins that count. Easy. But here's what the record books don't say. It's time we all reach out for something new. Purple Rain was happening in real time in the cultural conversation of 1984, right after Thriller's era. It wasn't competing with Thriller. It was replacing it in the public imagination, claiming territory, going places Michael's music hadn't gone. Michael attended screenings of the Purple Rain film. He went to multiple Prince concerts. He was watching, studying, taking mental notes. And Prince's drummer Bobby Z confirmed it. After Thriller hit, Prince became consumed with the idea that he needed to do more than make music. He needed to build a world, the film, the fashion, the mythology. Baby, you better close it. Baby, you better close it. No. And now Michael Jackson was attending those worlds as a member of the audience. Sit with that for a second. The biggest star on the planet, sitting in a theater watching the one person who'd proved there was still more territory to claim. Some of y'all know exactly what that feeling is. When someone else's success doesn't defeat you, it haunts you. That's not envy. That's something deeper. And it was just getting started. 4. We Are the World, January 28, 1985. God's a great big family. It's a Tuesday night, January 28, 1985. After the American Music Awards, Quincy Jones has gathered the biggest names in music into A&M Studios in Hollywood. Michael, Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Bruce Springsteen, Tina Turner, Diana Ross, all of them streaming in to record We Are the World, a charity single for famine relief in Africa. Now that we believe, there's no way we can fall. There was a sign on the door when they arrived. Quincy put it there himself. Check your egos at the door. One person wasn't there, Prince. So let's start there again. Why Prince skipped that session has become its own piece of music mythology. Some say he didn't want to be part of something he couldn't fully control. Some say the scheduling was genuinely complicated. The vocal arranger that Quincy Jones himself had tasked with organizing the session, Tom Baller, went on record years later with a theory that surprised people. He said he thought Prince was afraid, not of Michael specifically, afraid of that room, that environment, where someone else's gravity was the center of everything. Prince's version was simpler. He just wasn't available. But here's what matters to this story. Michael noticed the empty chair. Michael cared about the empty chair. And when you already feel like someone is treating you as their opponent, when you're already watching them claim what you thought was yours, a deliberate absence hits different. Here's the thing about rivalry. It doesn't need the other person in the room to be real. Sometimes the competition grows faster when they stay away. Because while the world was celebrating "We Are the World," Michael Jackson was already planning his response, his reclamation, his answer to the Purple Rain era. He was going to call it bad, and he had one person in mind when he named it. 5. The Bad Summit, late September 1986. What he said when he thought no one was listening in 1988 during the recording sessions for his Moonwalk autobiography, Michael Jackson sat down with a tape recorder and just talked. Those tapes were never supposed to be released. Raw thoughts, unfiltered, private. And what he said about Prince on those tapes is not what Michael Jackson would have said in any interview, at any press conference, on any stage. Because in public, Michael was above it. He didn't acknowledge the comparison. He dismissed the whole thing with a wave of the hand. I said my baby's at home. She's probably worried tonight. But on those tapes, which wouldn't surface until 2015, 6 years after Michael's death, he said this: "I don't like to be compared to Prince at all. I have proven myself since I was real little. It's not fair. He feels like I'm his opponent. I hope he changes because, boy, he's gonna get hurt." And then, he was so rude, one of the rudest people I've ever met. He has been very mean and nasty to my family. Read between the lines here. This is 1988. Thriller has already sold over 60 million copies. Bad had just gone platinum 7 times over. Michael Jackson is, by every commercial measure, the biggest entertainer on earth. And on a private tape recorder, he's still talking about Prince. The man he was publicly above comparing himself to had his name in Michael's mouth every single time Michael sat down with his unfiltered thoughts. That's not dismissal. That's obsession. That's what you sound like when you're trying very hard to convince yourself you're not threatened. And it isn't working. Prince felt the heat too. In his 2004 song, Life Owed the Party, he sang, "My voice is getting higher and I ain't never had my nose done." A direct shot, public, deliberate. Michael heard it, and Michael kept going, kept working, kept proving. Because the thing that drives the greatest artists isn't always love of the craft. Sometimes, for one specific name that lives rent-free in your mind, it's something else entirely. 7. Las Vegas, 2006. By 2006, Michael Jackson hadn't performed publicly in years. He'd been living abroad, working in private, quietly building toward what he hoped would be a comeback. And somehow, under circumstances that are still a little unclear, Prince invited Michael to attend one of his Las Vegas shows. Michael went. Think about that.
Can't hear ya.
Michael Jackson voluntarily in the audience of a Prince concert as a fan, as a spectator. And you already know Prince wasn't going to let that moment pass quietly. During the show, Prince walked off the stage, down into the crowd. He found Michael Jackson surrounded by his bodyguards, watching from his seat, and proceeded to play aggressive slap bass right at him. Up close, personal, not violent, not cruel, just Prince. A reminder that even in Michael's presence, even with Michael watching, he was not going to be the smaller figure in the room. It wasn't the first time. Back during the 1986 Bad Summit period, Prince had challenged Michael to a game of ping pong. Sound engineer David Z was there. He remembered it. Michael drops his paddle and holds his hands up in front of his face so the ball won't hit him. Prince won, strutted around and said, "Did you see that?" He played like Helen Keller. Vegas was the sequel to that energy, and Michael reportedly complained afterward. Prince has always been a meanie. He's just a big meanie. And honestly, I love that. I genuinely love that. The king of pop, the man who moonwalked on live television, the man who sold more albums than any human being alive, called Prince a meanie. Not a threat, not a rival, a meanie. If you've ever been up against someone who just refuses to make it easy for you, who won't soften competition no matter how many years pass, you know that word doesn't feel small when you say it. It feels exactly right.
Wait a minute.
8. God might give them to Prince. It's 2009. Michael Jackson is preparing for the biggest comeback in music history. 50 nights at the O2 Arena in London, the This Is It residency. And I need you to hold that number, 50, because 2 years earlier in 2007, Prince had set the O2 record. 21 consecutive nights, sold out every single one. Michael wanted 50. He was still keeping count. At 50 years old, after everything, he was still counting Prince's nights. It's late. Michael is with Kenny Ortega, the show's director and choreographer, during rehearsals. Michael can't stop working. New ideas keep flooding him. He's barely sleepy. Ortega, exhausted, asked him if they can please take a break. "Can't God take a vacation?" he says. And Michael looks at him and says, without missing a beat, "You don't understand. If I'm not there to receive these ideas, God might give them to Prince. Let that sit." This is 2009. Michael Jackson has sold over 350 million albums. He has never been matched commercially. He is, by any honest reckoning, the greatest entertainer who ever lived. And in a rehearsal studios in Los Angeles, in the middle of the night, the thing that keeps him working, keeps him from putting the pen down, from going to sleep, from stopping, is the fear that if he pauses, Prince gets what was meant for him. Not a fear of failure, not a fear of the audience turning away, a fear that Prince gets the ideas. Michael Jackson died on June 25th, 2009, 18 days before the first scheduled This Is It concert. June 25th, 1984. That was the day Prince released Purple Rain. 25 years to the day, make of that what you will.
And no message could have been